Hello, everyone. I'm David Schwartz, President and CEO of FIBA. I want to welcome you to another of FIBA's informative podcasts. Today, we are here with Jordi Torras, who is the new chair of FIBA. I'm going to talk to him a little bit about his plans for FIBA in 2022, discuss some of the changes that we've had at FIBA, and also a little bit about why you should be a member of FIBA. What are those benefits? What are those advantages? So, Jordi, thank you for being with us here today.
Thank you, David, for having me.
So, Jordi, just so people can understand a little bit about you and who you are, maybe you could tell us a little bit about your background, where you're from, and a little bit about your career.
Sure. Thank you, David. I started in banking back in 1988, a long time ago. And in Banco Sabadell in a city, it's called Terrassa. It's my hometown near Barcelona. And there I started doing something that I never thought I'd be doing, which is working in a bank. That gave me the opportunity to actually continue working on getting my college degree. And after that, I spent 3 years in Arthur Andersen in the auditing business until I realized that was not my thing. And I came back to Banco Sabadell. Since then, I stayed near Barcelona until 1999, where I moved to the Dominican Republic as the person of Banco Sabadell, representing Banco Sabadell in Banco PhD. And there I had the ability to do a lot of different things within the Dominican banking industry and also in the insurance business. So that it was like a second MBA for me, knowing different banking business regulations and also another financial business like insurance, casualty, health, etc. In 2005, we meaning the family, decided to move to the United States. And since then, I've been participating either on international private banking with Banco Sabadell, Miami branch, and also I spent 10 years as a CFO and some IT, legal, HR responsibilities in domestic banking when Banco Sabadell had Sabadell United Bank here in the States. Since we sold that business in 2017, I came back to the international private banking business. And since then, I've been the CFO at Banco Sabadell Miami branch. So that's my almost 35 years in banking business in a nutshell.
Interesting and something we probably don't see as much as we used to in terms of a very diverse background in banking. Like you, my intention was not to be a banker. It was to be a lawyer. Of course, that went in a different direction. And also like you, I actually spent 6 months working for Arthur Andersen out in Hong Kong. And I too decided that wasn't for me. So given that background, prepared you, I'd say, quite a bit for the role to be FIBA's executive committee chair. So how did you actually become involved with FIBA?
Well, Banco Sabadell has always been involved in FIBA since, let's say, the beginning of its branch opened here in Miami more than 25 years ago. We've always been members. We've always participated at some degree. And I think it was like 4 years ago that Julian Fernandez was his last year, and Tony Bejarano asked me if I could join FIBA. And I did it with this kind of saying, okay, I'd like to be closer to that organization that we've always been part of. And I got to the board, start understanding better how FIBA worked. And also then I had the opportunity to be part of the executive committee. I'd say that was an opportunity and an honor because FIBA, it's always been something special in terms of helping international institutions or banks here in Miami. But I learned that there was more than that. There was a lot of training. There was a lot of other committees that I didn't know that existed, but they were providing a great value to its members. And that, I think it helped me decide that I wanted to be more and more involved as I am right now. So it was an opportunity I took at that moment, and I'm really helpful being here.
And you take over at an interesting time, shall we say? We are still in the midst of the COVID pandemic, which has had a great impact on how banks do business. And of course, how FIBA operates, going from a very in-person focused organization to now operating more virtually and remotely. So given that environment, what are your plans for FIBA in 2022?
Well, I think that, as you said, David, these are challenging times. I think those in-person meetings that we used to have before that were really helpful in terms of knowing people more deeply and establishing relationships are gone, at least for now. And we need to be more prepared to work in a remote environment. We learned our way to do it during the last couple of years. And now I think we need to have a change in our mindset that this is here to stay. Maybe not 100% remote, but in a hybrid model. And that for FIBA, it's a challenge, but it's the same challenge that all the organizations have. We've proven that we can do it. We've been able to adapt to this environment, and we need to explore the opportunities that brings. For us, FIBA, it's a small organization, but now it gives us the opportunity to reach out to markets and institutions that maybe before that were more within this mindset of everything in person. Now we need to change that into something that we can explore in reaching out to markets and geographies where before it was more complex. So I see this as an opportunity for someone like us. Also, this is the same thing is happening for other organizations. So they're going to be reaching out to our natural markets as well. So I think that's our challenge, is to be successful in growing into different geographies and industries that we didn't reach before, and also protect our natural markets and add more value, so to speak, so that our members and participants in our conferences, trainings, etc., see that as valuable or more than before, and decide to keep on being part of FIBA.
And following up on that idea of expanding the types of institutions that you reach out to, FIBA has undergone a refresh, a rebrand, where FIBA used to stand for Florida International Bankers Association. FIBA is now the Financial and International Business Association. So what was the idea behind that change? And maybe you can discuss a little bit that membership strategy.
Oh, for sure. I think that was a big change. It was something that since I joined FIBA's board had been always in the air in terms of some thoughts were discussed at some level that we were missing opportunities on one end, and on the other that the industry was changing. And it's a fact that with all these fintechs, all these different financial institution forms that are now banks, they didn't have their space within FIBA. The Florida, it was also a limitation. Some banks didn't want to join an organization or an association that's it's just Florida. It's Florida based, but also somehow had a Florida branding that could somehow restrict their participation or their needs. So I think that was really a deep conversation, because changing a name, it's something that's not easy. At the same time, we cannot lose focus that we as FIBA were funded by banks, and we still need to provide all this advocacy for banks and financial institutions that is needed, because that makes us stronger and helps us in succeeding in our endeavors, and also challenges that might come from, let's say, new regulations or new opportunities in the markets. So all this was a deep conversation amongst all of us. I think it was very transparent, very honest conversation. And we cannot forget our past, but we need to embrace our future with this new change, and also opening our ideas, opening our thoughts, and opening our let's say action plans in in that we're going to have institutions that are not exactly banks or strictly banks, that will have different needs, that will have different approaches, different coming from different geographies and different realities, and that will force us to actually think differently and outside of our normal comfort zone.
And so what are the benefits associated with FIBA membership? Why should somebody be a FIBA member, and what are the advantages of these new membership tiers that you've launched?
I think that the world has changed, and now the world it's global. And whether you're a bank or a fintech or a investment advisor or even international organization that wants to do business with the United States, you need someone that actually helps you in understanding how business works. Someone that gives you that provides you with this advocacy, that in terms of if you want to do business that require money moving out in and out from your organization into another country, or dealing with certain regulations that you are not aware, you need that advocacy to help you understand and structure a business. Also, you need to build a network of relations, and we are able to that. We have a really strong network here, and also we have really strong ties with all Latin American banks. We are in the United States, but pretty close. We're looking down to Latin America, and we have really strong relationships there. So for someone joining FIBA, besides having the opportunity to learn about how the financial regulations work here in Florida and the US, also gives you the ability to find that opportunity in terms of business through the networks, through the different committees, and through the different initiatives and trainings that FIBA can offer. And that also give you, as an institution, the opportunity to have your people better trained, better prepared to face all these challenges, and also have to know people that might help you in your business overall.
When you talk about training and education, what is it that FIBA offers that will benefit these new members?
Absolutely. I mean, definitely our flagship is our AML conference. I'd say that it's number one AML conference in the US. Okay, we've been doing that for so many years. We get so great speakers there that bring us up to date on what's happening out there in terms of regulation, in terms of new trends, in terms of how to deal with new threats, how to get ready for the new thresholds, and that's critical. All of us financial institutions, we cannot avoid being ready on that end. It's imperative that we have our teams well trained on anything has to do with AML, and anyone that is doing business here and nowadays worldwide needs to be trained on that. I'd say that's our number one. But we also do not leave behind other stuff like corruption or other financial trainings that are needed within our teams. Okay. So what we are able to do, and it's something that because we are kind of a small shop in terms of getting ready for everything new it's coming out, but also getting ready to adapt any training to you as a member that is needed for. Let's say that we have a member that it's in a different country. Let's use Dominican Republic as an example. We can help them getting ready for anything has to do with US regulation, but also we can adapt that to their environments and provide that training for them very, let's say, tailor-made. So FIBA has the ability to have the trainings that were done in person before, done remotely, and also adapted to your needs.
Okay. So we talked a little bit about the challenges of the pandemic and what that has brought. And hopefully, we'll see some light at the end of this pandemic tunnel. But what other challenges do you foresee for financial institutions going forward?
Well, financial institutions definitely the larger challenges that I have are the burden of the regulations, its absence, and having economies of scales, having systems, and having someone that could tell you what the best practices are. So nowadays, or whereas before, every different country had different regulations, everything now it's more kind of coming to the same level of scrutiny. And being part of an organization that it's focusing on international business helps you a lot in terms of being ready for that. So it's not just for US institutions, but also for anyone that wants to have any kind of deal with a new US institution or a US organization. FIBA can provide all this and it can help you in succeeding.
Any particular thoughts, just to wrap everything up, on the future of banking itself? As I mentioned, you have a very diverse background in terms of the financial services. You mentioned fintech and the potential impact this is going to have on banking and its transformation. Any thoughts on the future of banking?
I mean, I don't have the crystal ball, obviously, but I think that fintechs are here to stay. Some of them will transform into banks, and some banks are kind of transform themselves into fintechs in terms of integrating new technologies in their processes. And we've been seeing that all along. So I think that as fintech initiatives keep on growing, some regulations will apply to them, and they need to be ready for that. So we can both learn in building that future together. Fintechs and banks are meant to be part of the same in the same arena, we should say, and work together in partnership. So I see a fintech as I could see another bank competitor in terms that we have mutual interests and mutual goals. And a lot of times we can collaborate in a lot of topics. So being there together, I think it makes us stronger in terms of being prepared for the future.
Great. Well, Jordi, thank you. It's been an interesting conversation and appreciate you sharing a little bit about yourself, your background, your vision for FIBA and for the future of banking. So again, thank you for joining us.
Thank you, David. And I also like to add that being part of FIBA, it's a great benefit, not only for the institution, but also personally, because you know to get a lot of really, really interesting people that you can learn from, and also that can help you in your personal network and also on your business in your business goals. Thank you very much, David.
Jordi, this has been a conversation with Jordi Torras, Chair of FIBA for 2022, sharing some of his thoughts and perspectives, not only on FIBA, but of the industry. So please join us again for another podcast that'll be coming your way soon. Everybody take care and stay safe out there.